Good afternoon, London town. A Scott talk to the world. Big shout out to MediaNet TV. Big shout out to management. Big shout out to producers. Big shout out to the whole film crew. A Scott talk in a change to our usual programming schedule. You know, normally my show is aired every Monday evening, 8 p.m. But due to the current coronavirus epidemic, a Scott talk and MediaNet TV have decided to do a live stream every day. I'm going to be broadcasting from the Ace Got Talk studios right here in London, northwest London. And we're going to be telling you what's going on the ground. It's a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining bright. And straight after this live link up, I'm going out to enjoy the weather, mate. You know what I mean? Going outside and get a bit of melanin in my skin. You know what I mean? Sort out a few bills and that. But as you know, there's a current epidemic on, and myself and the Vibes Master, aka the Unk Doctor, we done unprecedented, you know, our media special. The knowledge and the information we put out in that 45-minute Afiri show coronavirus special is unprecedented. There is no media broadcasting platform putting out the information, or as we like to say, the outformation, like a Scott Talk and the award-winning Unk Doctor. You know, after all of your calls on social media, Facebook, Instagram, you know, the last 48 hours, the phones have gone absolutely nuts. So what I've decided to do is do a live TV link up, a Scott Talk, MediaNet TV, and the Unk Doctor. So we're streaming live on Facebook, and we're going to be streaming live on YouTube for the next hour. We're here to answer all your questions. Joining me is the one and only, he needs no introductions, is the Vibes Master, aka the Unk Doctor. How you doing, my brother? His body's chewing. I said, how you doing, my brother?
The Master, we say we bow to the divine. We're good, bro. Can you hear me? The Master, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, man, I can see you chewing there, man.
The Master. Yeah, I'm just eating some grapes with some seeds in it, you know?
Yeah, you need to put those down, man. You're live on a Scott Talk MediaNet TV, boy. They're chewing away like a billy goat, my G. You know what I mean? Right? There's no time for chewing right now.
No worries. I'm ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Just replenishing. Good to go.
Good to go. You hydrated, you fueled up, you ready for action?
What ready for action? What's good? What's popping?
You listen, you're on the Ace, you're live on MediaNet TV, streaming to the world right now, my G. What we are working on, and a chicken we are jerk. You understand? So yeah, as you know, in typical Scott Talk stuff, we're just putting out the outformation. But before I go get into all of that, for those that are logged in for the first time, it's Scott Talk. I'm the urban motivational legend. Yeah, Golden Mike Champ, winner of the World Motivational Speaker Competition 2019. And joining me today is the Vibes Master, aka the Unk Doctor, voted the most informative radio presenter for the last 20 years. So it's a pleasure to have you alongside me, my G. How you doing?
We're good. Namastu, we bow to the divine or the divinity within you. Say thank you to MediaNet Live for having us on this beautiful day in and around London. The kind of day that makes sure Corona doesn't thrive with the amount of sunshine and heat that we're getting right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, as you know, me and yourself, we've been, as I would say in my words, we've been licking out against this coronavirus. And it's not to say that you know, people aren't getting sick. You know, and it's not to say that people ain't dying, and you know, we have respect for all life. You know, we're humanitarians, and all life, all forms of life are precious, so we respect that. But I mean, we done a 45-minute documentary on it, and it's very good. I suggest for anybody that's listening for the first time that ain't aware of it, you can find the documentary on MediaNet TV. It's entitled A Scott Talk About Theory Show. And so it's entitled Corona. A Philly show, Coronavirus. Definitely watch that, because we really drilled down on the numbers, and we made it very clear that this pandemic, in comparison to other previous pandemics, is completely exaggerated and blown out of proportion in terms of how they're making it seem like this is very life threatening, and in reality, it's, you know, nothing much more than a common cold that can be easily killed and cured. So what's all the fuss about, Vibes?
That's a very good question. As we're speaking to you now, I'm answering somebody who is responding to one of my posts on Facebook that has gone viral. He says, I hope this virus takes out every stupid one of these Facebook scholars who have no medical engineering or research background. I find that really, really interesting, yeah, because we have a laboratory background. I have worked as a lab assistant. I've worked in 2 places. I find it really, really interesting. I don't choose the titles, or the titles that get given to me. They're not given to me lightly. You hear what we're saying to you? So when I hear people who are trusting, ever so trusting in their government, yeah, when I hear people crying for the nanny state because it seems like they're missing their mother or their grandmother, so they need somebody to look after them, I find it absolutely incredible that people wish to be treated as adults, yet cannot, like adults, find out the facts of the medical condition we are all said to be under or suffering from. Because it works like this, Ace. You see, when you go to see a lawyer or when you go to see a barrister, yeah, you can stand up in front of a lawyer or barrister with no knowledge of law. So you're beholden to that person to advise you who does have knowledge of law. But you see, if you got knowledge of law and you still have to use a barrister or a lawyer, if you got knowledge of law and you use a barrister and a lawyer, you instruct your barrister or your lawyer what to do. I'll say that again, it's very important, yeah? If you have knowledge of law and you go see a lawyer or a barrister, you instruct them on the way you wish for them to go. If you have no knowledge of law, then you take the advice that is given. It works the same with medicine. If you've got no knowledge of medicine, then you're beholden to those who do have knowledge of medicine. Yet if you do have knowledge of medicine, and we do, you can have a conversation with a GP, with a surgeon, with a physicist, with a microbiologist. Do you follow, bruv? Yeah? Because you have the knowledge to have that conversation. And knowledge conquers your fears. So a lot of people are fearful because they have a lack of knowledge what they're dealing with. Yet we're the type of person, henceforth why we're called the Ant Doctor, who study, research meticulously every single detail what is coming to me, especially from government, meticulously. Yeah. So I hear when people are saying that we might be in the minority because we're not licking out. Yeah, we're asking for balance and perspective, because right now there is no balance and perspective. We're not saying that there isn't a virus, because as we've already discussed, we breathe in as human beings 100 million viruses a day. You hear what I'm saying to you? Yeah. We're not saying to you that there's more than one COVID is a strain of coronavirus. It's not the corona. There's no the coronavirus. This is it. There are different strains of coronavirus. Yeah. Yet what we are saying at this present time is that the response to a weak or mild form of flu is over dramatic, is excessive, and we now have to start to do critical thinking and question if there is another agenda underlying or overlying the corona agenda? Because we think there is, and we can prove that there is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is a very valid point you made here, that even, I mean, you know me, A Scott Talk, everybody's got a position to play in the village, you know, and I admire the fact that you are a master researcher, you know, and when it comes to any particular topic, then you won't find someone more researched than yourself. The A Scott Talk, I also do a lot of studying, but I like to just break things down for the layman in just basic ABCs. So here goes. You gave a fantastic analogy, my brother, of somebody that might have knowledge of the law and somebody that might not have knowledge of the law, and how the two would maneuver in each situation. You also gave the analogy of someone who might have knowledge of medicine and someone who might not have knowledge of medicine. Well, let me speak for the person that might not have knowledge of law, and let me speak for the person that might not have a great deal of knowledge of medicine. There's still something else you can rely on other than how knowledgeable you are. And in my opinion, that falls down to good old-fashioned common sense. And
Sense isn't common.
Common sense isn't
Common
common.
sense isn't common. It's rare. It's not common.
Common sense is, I don't even know why they call it common sense, because it's far from common, right? But if it was, I find that, you know, I find it, what I find quite alarming in all this situation, because those that are well read saw this coming, right? You mentioned the book yesterday or the day before that you read 30 years ago that told you a lot of these things. And I myself also, if anybody's aware of this book here, right? Hello, my brother. Eyes on the screen. If anyone's aware of this book here, right? Dajjal, New World Order. Yeah. I've had this book for about 25 years, and everything what's going on right now is broken down in this book. So I was speaking to someone today actually, last night, about conspiracy theorists, and that conspiracies, well, it's not, the word conspiracy theory is completely misconstrued, because it's not that a conspiracy theory is a theory that necessarily can't be proved. So because you can't prove it, it becomes a conspiracy. And I was explaining to her that there's books like this that had broke this stuff down 25 years ago. And then I said, even if you look at the religious texts, it's all there in the Bible. Revelations, it's all there. Do you know what I mean? So
can I say something to you, brother, about conspiracy theory? Yeah, sorry to interject there, but I think it's quite important. The term conspiracy theory was coined by the elite to stop people doing critical thinking. Yeah,
this is where I was. I was taking you there. That was where I was going. G. I was going to hack the ball out of the park. That was the end game. The end game was critical thinking. So remember, I started by saying, let me speak for the person that might not be, you know, well educated in medicine. Using your analogy, let me speak for the person that might not be well educated in, say, the law. I said that if we use basic common sense, and whether we go through books like this to just the Bible, which I'm not going to, tomorrow, by the way, is the God conversation. I've got the doctor on tomorrow, and we're going to dissect this whole God concept tomorrow. So let's stay tuned. It's going to be a mad one, because I know there's a few Christians that have really been, you know, kind of like waiting in anticipation. So we're going to break down the whole God concept tomorrow. So we won't go into that today. But what I'm saying is, even in religious texts such as the Bible, and you read books like Revelations, there are so many things that have been stated that are going to happen. And those that are well read just sit back and go, well, I read this and now it's come to pass. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. So
you don't have to have common sense to be able to sit down and just look around you at what's going on and think for yourself. Like you said, well, I was going to nail it, hit it out the park anyway. Critical thinking, to be able to sit down and just critique things and think, actually, this doesn't add up. I can't fathom the loss of that in this current society and in this current epidemic. Let me give you one example, and we could dissect this. There was a girl on WhatsApp, I'm not going to say which group, but she said yesterday morning, she got up and she goes, oh, I love being on this group. And she was just saying how she doesn't mind being on lockdown as long as she's got WhatsApp. And The fact that in the last week so many laws have been passed that has stripped people of their human rights. Yeah, even certain laws have been passed under the Mental Health Act. There's certain things that have just been slid in so neatly, and people can't see that. From where I'm sitting, I see it as basically let's take the gloves off and call a spade a spade. We're being stripped of our human rights daily. And we're being slowly. Remember, when the job of the oppressor is done well enough, the oppressor no longer needs to be present. And I can't. I've watched almost 70 people go into lockdown without even a bullet fired. Do you understand where I'm coming from, my brother?
I'm gonna say this. Yeah, let's get back first and foremost. Let's do a conspiracy theory because I think it's important. Yeah, the word conspiracy theory. Yeah. Like I said, the elite coined that word to stop people doing critical thinking, and also when things unfold in the present, yeah, they'll be able to shut down any form of protest, any form of criticism, any form of thinking by coining the term conspiracy theory. Yeah, the opposite to theory is fact. Yeah. So as well as you have conspiracy theory, which people are quick to ram down your face, the answer I give them to so aren't there conspired facts? Meaning, is it not possible that people sit down in a room and conspire to do things that are not conducive to humanity's well-being? Yeah. Is this at all possible? Bearing in mind the amount of so-called conspiracy theories that at present are proving with hindsight to be true. And the word conspiracy means people sitting down, making a plan to do something that is evil or to do something that is against the well-being of humanity. At this present time, what the reason why conspiracy theory will be thrown about is because, as you said, Ace, because of the flu or because of cold, people's human rights in the last 2.5 weeks are being chipped at, are being stripped away, yeah, under the disguise of protecting us from the flu or the common cold.
Yeah.
Do you need protecting from the flu or common cold?
Nope.
I don't need protecting from the flu or common cold. I don't need the state to protect me from the flu or common cold because I have the necessary knowledge already in my head, yeah, to administer the remedy for if I get the flu or cold or common cold. You can ask any of our family members, any one of them, yeah, when they're ill or when they're sick or when people around me, my family, are going down with flu and cold, who's the person you think doesn't get it, Ace?
Yourself.
My brother. See, common sense. It's me. And why is the reason do you think that everybody around me will be getting flu? My mum will be going for flu jab. My children will be getting it. Yeah, I got 5 of them, so they'll be sneezing all over daddy. All these different types of things. And I don't catch the flu or the cold. Yeah. And if I do catch the flu or the cold, once again, you can ask any of my family members. They will tell you I get rid of it 48 hours. 72 hours max that virus is staying with me, and then it's out of my system, and it's never in my system long enough to have the effect that they say that corona is having. Yeah, so I can only go on the evidence of how personally my body works. Someone said to me, yeah, but you might be healthy, Darren, but that's not the point. The point is that you could go out there and get it from somebody who's unhealthy and transmit it to somebody who is healthy. Yeah. I said, well, the only people that's liable to happen to, yeah, are my family members. Yeah. And if that be the case at this present time, they'll be good in our hands, because our family will tell you most of the time, yeah, if they come, they'll go to the GP and nothing ain't working out, and then they'll come and say, Darren, ask me this, ask me that. I'll rustle up 2 things, or I'll give them some instructions. If they follow them, often they'll find same thing, 48, 72 hours, bang, it's gone. So I can only go off of, yeah, my experience. They tell us experience is the best teacher, yet worst friend. So we can only go off of that which we know works for ourselves and that which we have explained to others and we've seen and they know and can bear witness to has worked for them. So now, should I go against that, Ace, and follow 100% wholly and solely what the nanny state or the government is trying to tell me right at this present time? If I know better.
Well, this is I believe that's a hypothetical question, but the reality is there's millions of people up and down the country that overnight have decided to forget all, like I said, common sense, forget all rationality, and the government says the minute you get a sniffle, you need an injection. The minute you get a slight temperature, you need a vaccination. Your body is no longer allowed to build up any immunity to anything around you. You know, we've been handling money for centuries, and now money's too dirty to touch. You know, so I actually see all of this self-isolation and keeping away from each other as a way of weakening your immune system because you're less in contact with all these different germs and bugs, right or wrong.
That is correct. It is a way of weakening your immune system, and you also got to comprehend, or people got to know, there is an agenda, yeah, where at this time there are a lot of wealthy people saying there's too much human beings on the planet. I was explaining the other day on the program, 7.8 billion to 8 billion people on the planet at this present time. And the narrative that is coming from some very wealthy billionaires like Bill Gates, like Prince Charles, like Prince William, like many others, Elon Musk, is that there are too many humans on the planet. So somebody sat down and conspired, not as a theory, as a fact, that they feel, and these people are in the 1% very wealthy, who pool their resources to make sure they have power, control, and wealth, made sure that the agenda for the 21st century will be the depopulation or culling. That's what they say for mammals or animals. If there's too many badgers, if there's too many fox, a major problem in the countryside, i.e. stealing livestock or becoming a plague, they cull them. Yeah, this is what your government or the secret government are saying right now. There are too many humans on the planet, so we need to cull, yeah, or we need to depopulate the planet. So there is very much an agenda that's not so hidden to make sure that humanity's immune system is depleted. And we could see this from the coronavirus pandemic fear that we're going through at the present time, because when they were giving out all the information about how many people have contracted the disease, when they were giving out the information about how many people had died from the disease, they didn't want to give you the information on how many people had recovered until people were saying, they're not saying how many people's recovering. They're just saying this person's contacted it and this person has died, which is right. And then the state or the government reacted by now, yeah, making sure that they give updates on who has recovered as well as who has contacted and who has died. Here's the most important thing that they left out. The country that was at the epicenter of the coronavirus, China, went to Cuba, and Cuba gave China a pharmaceutical immune boosting drug, which enabled China to eradicate the virus, and not only eradicate, now be open for business while the rest of the world is closed for business. So what this showed was that there wasn't a vaccine, or in fact, China, remember this, managed to cure or give their population an antidote without giving them a vaccine. Yeah, and that antidote was a pharmaceutical immune booster.
Well,
and as we were explaining, nobody in this country, I know nobody came out in this. It wasn't on social media. It was ourselves, the Ant Doctor, and my good brother, Ankra of Ankra award-winning nutritional supplements, who went on supremefmlive.ning.com, Supreme Radio 99.8, and informed everybody the key to balancing or getting rid of this flu, this
It's to boost your immune system.
virus,
It's to
was
boost
to boost your immune system.
I'm going to speed up because I want to fire some questions at you, and I just want to start going a bit rapid. So, a few things. Firstly, what is your opinion on what do you think the coronavirus is?
It's not my opinion, it's a fact. The coronavirus is flu that has been weaponized. Okay, the COVID-19 is 4 strands of the coronavirus, which the New Delhi Institute of Technology published a white paper on an open source platform explaining that they feel, not according to our opinion, the scientists at New Delhi Institute of Technology, they feel that the current COVID-19 was manufactured in a laboratory, okay? And what makes them think this and have put it out, published in a white paper, is the fact that under the microscope, they saw that the HIV strand was in the COVID virus. Let's not get this twisted. People got to be clear. There are many types of coronavirus. Yeah, right. There's not one type of coronavirus.
Well, today we're going to keep it choppy, right? Just a bit choppy, so we don't want to. So I like the fact that I asked you the question. What is your opinion on what the coronavirus was? And your response was, it's not my opinion. It's a fact. I like that. Very, very certain on your words. It's weaponized flu. Okay, and I can agree with that. Now, you in your answer, you started to kind of almost answer my second question, which I wanted to ask you. I was doing some studies this morning before we came on this call, and apparently the coronavirus was patented in early 2006. Now there's actually a patent for it, and they've also got a patent for the vaccination. What is your opinion on that? In line with the agenda, so to speak.
Someone who has worked in a laboratory. I'm not giving you my opinion. I stay clear. The ancient ancestors taught us, yeah, humanity. Deal with the truth and the facts. Stay clear of opinions. Keep your opinions to yourself, because they enter or they bring in confusion. The fact of the matter is this. Yeah, I can tell you this. Go and do your own. Ace, did you know you cannot get a patent for a biological disease unless you have a vaccine? This is very, very important to comprehend, people, because when your government is telling you, oh, there is no vaccine, well, Cuba are the best medics in the world. They cured it without a vaccine. They did it just by boosting your immune system. When you hear that there are patents for coronavirus, patents for AIDS virus, patents for Ebola virus, to get a patent authorized, you have to have a vaccine or an antidote. There's no way you're going to get a patent, yeah, for a biological virus or disease, yeah, without a vaccine or antidote. They're not giving you that patent to put it out there willy-nilly and destroy and kill the world. Yeah, there are safeguards, there are safety measures. Yeah, and this is what people without the knowledge of medicine or science, or may not have been fortunate to work in a medical environment or a research environment or a laboratory, that's the part they're not getting. Yeah, when you see patent, when you Google and you see these patents, the next thing you're supposed to say, oh, that means there's a vaccine, because you don't get the patent without a vaccine.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
That's the facts, bro. Yeah, anybody wish to prove me wrong, knock yourself out. Go ahead. Yeah, like I said, I've worked in the lab. You cannot get a patent for a virus or a disease without having a vaccine. Simple.
So in a nutshell, what we're really saying is that The coronavirus is nothing more than a weaponized flu with a patent and a vaccine.
What it is biological warfare. Yeah. Are the skeptics and the debunkers, are they going to say there is not a thing such as biological warfare? Then they need to check out the book, The History of Biological Warfare. Okay, yeah, which goes all the way back to the Native American Indians being given blankets with smallpox by the Europeans, and shows you throughout the course of history, from you go from the Native Americans, you go to the flu pandemic that happened in the 20th century, 1918, you go into Nazi Germany, where you have pharmaceutical companies like Bauer, yeah, who existed and were doing experiments, biological warfare experiments, not only on European Jewish people, but also on African black people. When you go into the book, The History of Biological Warfare, or even go into the book, The History of Viruses, it quite clearly explains to you that viruses are used in war to deplete, yeah, a population, to deplete army, or to weaken a country or a people that you want to conquer. Yeah. And history dictates that. That's not my opinion. That's the fact according to history. These things have been these things have been well documented.
Well documented, 100%, my brother, 100%. And so, where do you think the UK is heading with in regards to this current lockdown situation?
This current lockdown situation has produced the biggest economic collapse ever, bigger than the Great Depression. This economic collapse. When we come out there, everybody's sitting down at home, say, "Yeah, let me just sit down, obey the government, obey the rules, obey the lockdown, stay in. And all you got to do is do this for 14 days, and then afterwards we'll be." Everything's just gonna get back to normal, just like that. Yeah. There's going to be no repercussions because of this lockdown. There's going to be no economic repercussions because of this. Well, let me tell you how everything's not going to get back to normal. Topshop. Go and ask the employers of Topshop if everything's going to get back to normal, because every single one of them has lost their job because the shop's been shut and the shop's been locked. Yeah. Go and ask some of the self-employed who are on 0-hour contracts if afterwards everything is going to be getting back to normal after they've not managed to have any income for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Yeah. Do you know how many people are sitting at home thinking, "Oh, I'm all right, I'm employed, the government's going to give money to my employer and my employer is going to give me 80% of their wages," not knowing your employer's already said, "I don't need you now. I've realized how we can streamline this business now that you've been at home or working from home," because every chief executive that gets the top chief executive job, they always look to try and streamline the company, streamline the employees in the company so that they can get maximum profit out of the company. It's called reducing the overheads, Ace. And a lot of people do not realize where they're sitting down thinking that afterwards their job is all right, they got a job to go back to. Remember, I said this to you, you're going to see a lot of people online saying, "Yeah, I haven't got a job no more." They say we're not needed no more. They're paying me up to and during the period, but now they're saying I have to go and find more work. Yeah. Remember, I said that this is going to happen to a lot of people, Ace. Yeah. And people do not realize that the pandemic that has actually happened, yeah, is the crashing of the global economy. I said I'm going to start using this one on my show because it's a great analogy. Global World War III has been fought and won, and not one shot, not one bomb, not one weapon has been fired, my brother. Yeah, it's all been done by playing on emotion.
Say that again. World War III,
like I said, has been fought globally and won, and not one shot has been fired, bruv. Not one bomb has been dropped. All the powers that be utilized was fear. Yeah, knowing that they could play on human emotions, play on the emotion of fear and put us all in the position what we are in now, where the whole of the UK has been placed on benefits, as we've been explaining. Don't matter whether you're getting 80% of your wages from your employee through the government, or you're self-employed and got to go to universal credit, which is a disgrace. Yeah. And the amount of money that they've issued or said is available in the bailout, they can give us £8,000 each for being off work for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because we're going to need that money afterwards, bruv. Yeah, they can afford, if you do the maths as you say, Ace, they can afford to give each of us £8,000 with the hundreds of billions that they say is available for the bailout. So giving people 80% of their wages, or 94, 95 pound a week, or telling them, oh, we'll give you a little bit more on your gyro, on your universal credit. Yeah, don't worry. They're taking the mick, bruv. Yeah, you're talking to somebody who does the maths. Yeah, the government is taking the pee out of everybody, and the reason for this lockdown is not because they are worried about your health. If they were worried about your health, they would have told you about boosting your immune system. The reason for this lockdown is not because they're worried about your family and how you're going to feed your family, because if they were worried about you and your family, they wouldn't be locked down for the minority, and all of us now would be at work earning a crust, making sure that we could feed our family. And now we're going to move into the stage whereby they will enforce into law that you will have to have vaccines for the flu, vaccines for the different strands of flu called coronavirus. That's where this is headed. Oh, money, can't use it because it might spread the virus.
Of course, we're gonna go on contact us. Just comment on some of the Facebooks at the bottom on the live chat. I want you to pick up the last comment that was made. This gentleman's asking, in your opinion, can you see that? Left hand screen.
Who are the protagonists in this warfare arena? That's a great question. Scagnetti Jack. Yeah.
Shout out to Scagnetti Jack, man. We're gonna be here live streaming every day from 11 a.m. MediaNet TV. And the main breakdown of this conversation between me and Vibe Master, you can, if you scroll back on the MediaNet TV Facebook, or you check on the YouTube channel, that was a proper breakdown. We went from World War One, World War Two, what was divvied up, who got what. You know, the brother broke it down. So that is a must see. This is just, we're just brushing over some stuff. But yeah, in answer to the brother's question, I just want to read the question out again and then answer the brother.
In your opinion, who are the protagonists in this warfare arena? Okay then. That's a great question, Scagnetti Jack, in terms of who is responsible. Yeah. If you listen to the USA and the UK, they'll tell you that China is responsible. If you listen to China and you listen to Iran, they will tell you that the USA is responsible. Now, one of the things that I often explain is this, yeah? When you hear that narrative brought forth by the mainstream media of China versus USA versus Iran versus the UK versus Russia, it's a false and fake narrative. Why do you say it's a false and fake narrative, Vibe Master or Ankh Doctor? Because there's something that's called, walk with me here, the International Space Station. And if you was to research what's called the International Space Station, you will find that the International Space Station has astronauts from all of the countries supposed to be working against each other, or supposed to be at the opposite ends of political ideology, capitalism or communism, or capitalism and socialism, etc. Yet, with the International Space Station, China, America, Russia, Iran, Israel, everybody works together for the greater good of humanity. When you're talking about protagonists, when we explain to you and say your government, we're not talking about Boris Johnson's government. We're not talking about Donald Trump's government. We're not talking about Putin's government. We're not talking about Xi Jinping of China's government. We're not talking about the kook in North Korea's government. We are talking about the shadow government, those who pick or select those who we elect when we go and tick the box in a vote. Yes, when you're looking at most of your political leaders, especially coming out of France, UK, Spain, America, definitely, yeah, they are selected before they are elected. And they are selected by what is called in, I hate to use this term, conspired theory circles, the shadow government or the hidden government. But this shadow government, this hidden government, is not hidden or shadow anymore. What is this shadow government or hidden government? To Ace the other day, and also to the MediaNet crew, I was explaining to them about old money and also about new money.
Break
All
it
right.
down, break it down, break it down.
Old money, yeah, is your aristocracy of Europe, Queen of England, Queen of Denmark, Queen of Norway, Queen of Sweden, Queen of Holland, yeah, your aristocracy of Europe who work together, all right, yeah, as well as some very wealthy families who move in noble circles, so are the court, if you like, of your aristocracy, all right? And that hidden government is made up of, according to Fritz Sprigmeyer, who's a great researcher. Fritz Sprigmeyer has written a great book, 13 Families of the Illuminati, which explains to you the families who over 200 years ago sat down around a table and said, look, you know what? If we pool all our wealth, because we're the richest people in the world, or the richest families in the world, if we pool all our wealth, yeah, I think that we can control the world's economic system. This was the head of the Rothschild family, who are responsible for the SWIFT banking system. Yeah, if we pool our resources, I think by pooling all of our wealth, we can control the wealth of the world, and not only control the wealth of the world, we can also dictate the government of the world, and also as well dictate the resources of the world and the human resources of the world. Some people will be sitting down and thinking, you're talking rubbish. That could never happen. How could just a few people sit down around a table and be able to control the whole world? Yeah. Well, I'm not sorry as it goes. You need to do your research. You need to get up to speed. One of the things my friends who we speak with avidly, he's always calling me and say, what do I think of this? What do I think of that? Yeah. Values our take on how we break things down factually. All right. And one of the things that he said to me, no, it was a she as it goes. One of the things that she said to me was, do you know what, D? Yeah. Everybody who is in self-isolation over the next couple of weeks, they really do need to bring themselves up to speed with some of the stuff you've been explaining, some of the stuff you explain, some of the stuff we explain. They need
I've been telling them
speed right now. Yeah, they're gonna be in big problems. Not just now. I'm talking about after we come out of this, because like I said, there's a lot of people who are sitting down in an illusion and in ignorance, who's thinking that after we go through this so-called self-isolation, what we on day 6? Yeah, or is it day 3? Because some people broke it at the weekend. Did we start on Monday or did we start?
I know as soon as this call finishes, I'm going out. I got things to do. You get me? Boris backside. You think, but man sent me a text, brother. Have you got a relationship with the Prime Minister like that where you can text your phone? Because I couldn't believe I got a text telling me about I must stay in my yard. Yeah, you're mad. But yeah, this self-isolation thing.
Be careful, because the way that they'll be tracking us, by their virtue that we've got that text, they'll be tracking us through our phones. So looking and monitoring when we will be going out and when we not be going out. So don't be.
Let me tell you something. I tell you how this thing's deep, right? Let's just backtrack for a minute. Do you remember when those little Tesco's cards came out? and those little Sainsbury's cards where you could get points the more you spent, they topped up. This day, what we're experiencing now, they had it coming a long time ago, and those cards was part of the monitoring. They already know your spending habits. They already know how often you buy a deodorant, how often you go to the supermarket. They've got, and those all of those shopping cards, their computers are picking up data on you, algorithms, spending habits, etc. So this lockdown is very strategically and well planned. You mentioned something earlier, and I said we'll come back to it. We talked about cashless society. Everything now's contactless, chip and pin, touch, go. Like you said, they've now started to feed into people's psyches that cash is now dirty. Oh, I don't want your money. Some shops around here are not taking money at the moment. You know, in other shops, they will only take your money if you had gloves on. What a thing. What, you know what I mean? So there's a lot being drip fed into the psyche of people, and I just want to hit that. There's a lot being drip fed into the psyche of people. I don't think they're really aware of till it's too late. I'll give you an example quickly. I often use this analogy. It's one of my favorites, one of the gems that I'm now giving away. But I don't know. Are you aware how to boil a frog, my brother?
How to boil a
frog?
A frog?
Yeah. You ever boiled a frog before?
No, I haven't boiled a frog before.
I'm going to tell you quickly how to boil a frog. It's a beautiful analogy, but it's actually biologically factual as well. This is a fact. If you get a hot pot of hot water and you turn that water up, get it on the boil, and you get a big toad frog, big bullfrog, and you chuck it in that boiling water, what do you think will happen to that frog?
Well, it get very hot. I know that much.
Well, it'll die, isn't it? I mean, it will die.
Well, actually, being a reptilian, that frog may well adapt or attempt to adapt, depending on the.
You're getting a little bit scientific, but I'll explain it. Boiling pot of water, hot boiling water, yeah. Temperature's right up. You throw that frog in that water, that frog will die. It'll probably hop out, but slap around the floor and die of hot scalding burns. Fact. Try it out. You don't believe me. But there is a way you can boil that frog without him noticing. And this is the key thing. It's called how to boil a frog. You get the same frog and you put it in a pot of cold water. This is very important. You put the frog in a pot of cold water. You turn the heat up, and the temperature of that water, starts to get hotter and hotter. But the frog's body temperature doesn't adapt at the same time to the change in heat. And this is what we're seeing happening right now. The water, a lot of people are sitting in a pot of hot water. They don't even know it. It's got to. Why? They better know. I'll say it again. A lot of people are sitting in a pot of hot water and they don't realize. And that heat is being turned up slowly. But unfortunately, just like the frog, their body temperature isn't able to adapt to the current change in heat. And with frogs, by the way, that frog will sit in that water and literally, this is a fact, it's scientific, you can do it, scientific experiment. The frog will sit in that water and boil to death. It will just get hotter and hotter, but the frog will just sit there and don't know. But you know what I mean? Because his temperatures, he's not feeling it. Boil to death. And that's what I'm seeing happening around the world. A lot of people are sitting in pots of water right now and the heat's on them and they never realize. Talk to me, Vibes.
They don't even realize what is coming on the other. Economists, do you know what economists are saying? This is what I'm saying. When everybody sits down with the illusion, everything's going to be we'll just be able to get back to, like, economists are saying it's going to take us more than a decade, 10 years, to be able to come out of this economic collapse that we are in, which is the biggest, they are saying, that has ever taken place. And all of this liquidity in quantitative easing coming through the Bank of England and the Central Reserve. The last time they did that in 2008, the people who benefited most from quantitative easing, from the liquidity, from the money being given out, were the 1% rich. The money didn't trickle down, bro. This is why when they're saying to us, we'll give you a little £94, we'll boost up the universal credit, we'll give you 80% of their wages, people are supposed to say, no, I want my full wage. People are supposed to say, no, you have enough money to make sure each citizen gets £8,000 for their inconvenience. Don't give all the money to the wealthy people. They don't need it more than we do. Yeah, they're all right, bro. Yeah, they can survive into the next lifetime their grandchildren's lifetime, and their great-grandchildren's lifetime, the 1%. They've totally eradicated the upper. There's no upper class or middle class no more. Coming out the other side of this, I hope people realize there will be no upper class or no middle class coming out the other side. You're either very rich or you're with us in the Hunger Games, because that's where we're going to be in right about now. Yeah, because poverty most definitely will have increased. Yeah, right about now. So that depopulation, culling of humanity is going to intensify. Yeah, because there will be even more people who will be broke and will be in poverty. And the great Baba Nelson Mandela, yeah, made it clear poverty is not a natural phenomenon, it is man-made. I say that to you again. The Baba Mandela made it clear. The same way man brought poverty, man can eradicate poverty. So the powers that be, the shadow government, the very wealthy elite, they've got more than enough money, yeah, to be able to give us all a substantial amount of compensation, yeah, for inconvenience. Yeah, right about this present time, okay? Because that is what is taking place. People are now going back to minus. Do you know? Let me give some people some research. In the 1970s, yeah. Do you know the insurance industry would not insure the pharmaceutical industry for vaccines? They refused to insure the pharmaceutical industry. And you know why they refused to insure the pharmaceutical industry, Ace? Because they knew the vaccines, A, some of them weren't tested properly, yeah. B, that out of the ones that were tested properly, there were side effects. So the insurance industry was not prepared, yeah, to insure pharmaceutical companies for vaccine. Go and check it out. Go and do some research. Go and find that out. You hear what I'm saying to you? They weren't prepared to do that. Yeah. If you also do some more research, go and find out about things like the King Alfred plan. Go and find out about things like Codex Alimentarius, which is making vitamins illegal. Go and find out about things like sustainable development. When you hear the word sustainable development, you need to be very worried, humanity, because that's about culling, yeah, the population. That's about depopulation. That's about having just enough people to sustain and develop the planet, yeah, after the billions have got rid of. When you hear things like Agenda 21, people have had think tanks, people have had meetings, as well as you hear of things. I just using the ones with NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Don't forget about the governmental ones like the Bilderberg, like Davos, G7, G10, G20, where selected people sit there. So if you think that people do not sit down behind closed doors and conspire on ways where they can strip us of our liberty, and bear in mind this as well, yeah, the UK have just left the European Union. Brexit, it was called, and in doing so, we no longer beholden to the European Court of Human Rights, or the Human Rights Act, which was placed in law in 1998 and came into effect in the year 2000. We're no longer beholden to the Human Rights Act. They say they want to write an English Bill of Rights. Well, there's already an English Bill of Rights. Yeah, there's something called the Magna Carta. Yeah, and if we stick with the Magna Carta, new statute acts that have just gone through Parliament, they don't affect us. Any policeman that comes to, I'm going by common law, Magna Carta. You can't come to me with statutory law. Yeah, in fact, I don't need to answer your questions. Yeah, as long as I'm not harming nobody, as long as I'm not hurting anything, as long as I'm not thieving from nobody, as long as I'm not killing nobody, me and you have got no discussion. Yeah, you need to go and look at the Magna, because the Magna Carta is not suspended. They can't suspend the Magna Carta, bro. Yeah, it is enshrined in our law, and that Magna Carta means that we function on common law. We do not function on statute law or acts of parliament, which in fact are illegal and were brought about by your Illuminati families as a method of control. So in all that we're saying at this here present time, one, you need to check out about pandemics and the amount of pandemics that have happened throughout history, and that this is the weakest virus that has ever been used to lock down entire countries with the lowest ever fatalities and the highest recovery rates. Two, you need to check out the shadow government. You need to check out Fritz Sprigmeyer about the Illuminati. You need to check out A. Ralph Epstein about the Illuminati and the New World Order. All of these things explain that which we are in right now and in today. You do not need to have a substantial doctorate, a substantial scientific background, or a substantial medical knowledge to cure common cold or flu. In fact, you pick up the common cold or flu virus every day when you walk out there at the street, and your immune system deals with it as long as you're not eating too much processed food, as long as you're not eating too much pork. Pork is one of the worst. As long as you're not eating too much food that do not give you the essential vitamins and nutrients that your body needs, which is mostly processed food or crap like crisps, canned drinks, fizzy drinks, sweets, cake. It's funny, you could walk in last week to the shop, yeah, and you couldn't buy any eggs. No eggs that you crack and stuff like that, yeah? You couldn't buy, but you could buy chocolate eggs. You could buy 1,000,001 chocolate and Easter egg off the shelf, yeah? So it shows you that they put more processed food, more food that is not good for us on our shelves, then they put food that is good for ourselves, because the food that is good for us is in specialized shops called health shops. How is it that all shops that selling you food is not selling you healthy food? Why do we have to go to specific health shops to get healthy food? There's so much wrong with our system right now. And for me, this is a chance, once we come out the other side, to rebuke things on our terms. But people
I hear you, my brother. So you've imparted a lot to digest, you know, a lot to digest. I would like to do another show with. Oh, in fact, just quickly for the listeners, are you going to join me on the Monday usual show from the TV studio?
We got no problems in joining you, my brother. We can do analysts for.
Right.
What we want to bring across to people, or what we're trying to bring across to people, why they call us the Ant Doctor, is we're trying to bring across to you the pyramid sciences. The pyramid sciences in religion.
We're not gonna leave it there. We've got 3 minutes left, my G. But the reason why I was just confirming whether you're gonna join me on Monday is because what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick this up on Monday at the MediaNet.tv studios. It'll be myself alongside the Undoctor, but we're going to be live streaming from the TV studios. And I want everybody to call in. You can interact live on the Facebook, and we're going to take. We've done this in stages. Part one. If you look back on the like I said at the beginning of the show, look on the MediaNet TV Facebook feed, or if you look on the MediaNet TV YouTube feed. Part one, we really broke down the numbers and covered the maths and looked at all the epidemics that have ever plagued our humanity since the beginning of human history, and we compared that to this current pandemic. And we also dissected what the New World Order means, and what just trying to put to bed all the conspiracy theories. And so actually these ain't actually theories. There's a lot of factual evidence to back up what we're saying, and it's all written there in history. And today's Q&A, so to speak, has just kind of gone over some of those topics and just elaborated on a few things. Monday vibes, where I want to go, the next part of the conversation now, and this is a part we haven't really. We dealt with the virus. We've dealt with Corona, the virus. But what we haven't done yet is given the time it really deserves to tackle 5G. I know a lot of people have got a lot of questions around 5G. So this is why I wanted to cut you when you're going into the immunity, the body, health foods, so we can tie that into the Monday show. And I've got an interesting theory. I'm gonna throw it out there now as a cliffhanger. But one of my theories is just a theory. I can have them as well. This is just a theory. I'm not saying there's any truth to this one, but I believe one of the reasons why the plane could be grounded is something to do with the technology that they're testing. Do you know what I mean? So why all planes are grounded, because it's unprecedented. In my 40 years, I've ever seen all the planes across the world practically grounded. Do you know what I mean? So we're gonna pick this up Monday live. A Scott Talk, our Fury Show, Media Net TV. Do you just want to summarize and say a few last words to the listeners? A shout out to everybody that's logged in on and made your comments on the live stream. Shout out to G Topez who says World Takeover, let's get it. Shout out to Sken Jack as well and everybody on the live stream. But yeah, bro, do you want to summarize and just give the listeners some final words?
All I just want to say and keep reiterating to people, right? Even when you come out of this, boost your immune system, boost your immune system, boost your immune system. There's a war being waged on humanity's immune system, which we'll go into when we now start to dissect the next wave of mobile broadband Wi-Fi technology, which is 5G. All right, but it's imperative that you be boosting your immune system, and if you're eating that pork, it's imperative you come off of that, yeah, because that is one of the biggest weakness. Pork, yeah, ham, bacon, pepperoni, yeah, pastrami, salami, yeah. Yeah, you might as well go in the dustbin and eat. Yeah, all of these people are washing it. If you're still eating pork, you might as well go in the dustbin. You're doing no good. Yeah, that's one of the biggest destroyers of your immune system that there is. So, I've been hammering about boosting your immune system. We've got a lot coming in and around boosting your immune system. Me and the good brother Ankara of Ankara award-winning nutritional supplements, we've been working hard, putting together a few things, and that's what we're going to start going around explaining to people. Yeah, that's why we're copyrighting certain things. Boost your immune system, because there is a war that is definitely going to be waged on humanity's immune system and in humanity's health in general. This is why they're looking to illegalize or outlaw vitamins, Codex Alimentarius. Go and look it up. Yeah, this is the reason why that they're moving full steam ahead with 5G, even though they know all of the science and all of the tests are showing that it breaks down your immune system. So that's what we really want to hammer home to people. Boost your immune system. And also, my people, knowledge is power over those who do not know. Our ancient ancestors, our African ancestors taught, knowledge conquers your fears. So everybody who's sitting down in fear, and there's an awful lot of you, yeah, acquire the necessary knowledge. Start.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Straight.
So guys, just to give you a heads up, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming live 11 a.m. here from the A Scott Talk Studio, MediaNet TV. I've got Dr. Jude Joseph joining me, and the topic for tomorrow is we're going to break down this concept of God. You know the whole blue-eyed guy in the sky. A lot of people are waiting for some man on a unicorn to come flying out the sky and save you. So we're going to be breaking down the whole concept of God and religion.
Can we join you?
You want to join me tomorrow on that one?
Yeah, I'm religious.
Yeah.
Members of the Holy Coptic Church.
Brother, you're more than welcome to join us. Yeah,
make sure you do join. I look forward to.
I might do a split. Like we might. I don't know. We'll work it out. Unless you want to do a Saturday. You want to do it? All right. We'll work it out offline. Yeah. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome, my brother. You know what I mean? But I still think it's fair to give everybody.
I tell you why. Yeah. And I want you to take this away, and I'll zip. Yeah. There are God concepts, but what they didn't teach you about when they were teaching you about concepts, there are God precepts. When you look up the word precepts, yeah, it means principles. That's a word in the last 3 years we've introduced so many people. Oh, that word don't exist. Oh, that's that Hotep African, you making it all up as you go along. And then they look in the dictionary and they see precept. The Europeans taught us African religion dealt with precepts. Let's do this because you know we're the most informative around here. So let's break this down for you all. And look at precepts, do your homework.
Man. Thank you, brother. Do you know what? Man, firstly, before I go, I gotta say a big thanks to you, my brother, because you know you are the most informative radio presenter, award-winning radio presenter for the last 20 years, alongside myself, A. Scott Talk, urban motivational legend, winner of the World Motivational Speaker Competition 2019. So it's like you know the saying, brother, and it's more than a saying, it's reality. 2 lions could deal with 20 hyenas straight up and down. You know, 20 hyenas could deal with 1 lion, but they can't deal with 2. And that's what happens anytime Ace got talk and the Unc Doctor bucks up. So I want to say thank you very much for your sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. Shout out to everybody that's logged on live streaming and just taking in the information. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 11 a.m. We're going to do the God Show. And then Monday, usual time in the evening, we might do it slightly earlier. But Monday evening, Ace got talk live from MediaNet TV studios. We're going to be doing our normal weekly roundup of what's been going on the last 7 days with the coronavirus and everything, and we're going to do a 5G special. And I think it's very important we talk about the latest bill that's been passed under the Mental Health Act. So guys, God bless you. Stay locked in. You know what I mean? And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Namastu. We bow to the divine or the divinity within you. We say namastu, not namaste. Namastu.
Namastu.